I'm not a warrior, I'm a soldier. There's a difference. Warriors attack and conquer, they prey on the weak. Soldiers defend and protect the innocent, mostly from warriors.
On this channel, we've talked a fair bit about the heroes of the Republic, especially the clone troopers of the Grand Army and the Jedi Knights who led them into battle. But the Republic had its fair share of heroes before the Clone Wars too, and not all of them were Jedi. Over the course of the galaxy's long history, trillions of beings dedicated their lives to the Republic, fighting against the likes of traitors, Mandalorians, and Sith Lords. The man we'll be talking about today fought against all three. Carth Onasi served the Republic through some of its darkest years, rising from being a simple helmsman to becoming an admiral in the Republic Navy. Through it all, he was unwavering in his commitment to the ideals of the Republic, becoming one of its greatest heroes. In this video, we'll be telling his story.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
Carth Onasi was a native to Telos 4, a remote Republic colony in the Outer Rim. Telos was a hidden gem, a world of immense natural beauty, and Carth had a good life there. But he was also a strong believer in the Galactic Republic and was a skilled pilot, so he signed on with the Telos militia and then with the Republic Navy, spending long stretches of time away from home with the fleet. He was born 3,994 years before the Battle of Yavin, 2 years after the end of the Great Sith War, and joined the Navy at the time when the Republic was trying to rebuild its military. Onasi had a wife, Morgana, back on Telos, but he stayed on the front lines anyway, convinced that the Republic needed him. Carth and Morgana eventually had a son, Dustil, but Carth was ultimately unable to spend as much time as he would have liked with the boy due to the outbreak of the Mandalorian Wars. During the war, he served under Admiral Saul Karath, who mentored him and promoted him to the rank of lieutenant. Carth fought for the Republic in several early battles against the Mandalorians, including the Battle of Vanquo and the Battle of Sirocco, and had a number of run-ins with the fugitive Jedi Padawan Zane Carrick, who he helped on a number of occasions. Despite the best efforts of Carth and his fellow soldiers, the Mandalorians steamrolled Republic forces time and time again. As more of his comrades died in battle, Carth spent increasingly long stretches of time on the front lines, refusing to go home until the Mandalorians were stopped. The tide of the Mandalorian Wars was finally turned when Revan and Malak, the leaders of the rogue Jedi group known as the Revanchists, joined the fight. Carth fought in their army, following them for their first victory at Duro to Malachor 5, where the Mandalorians were finally defeated. After Malachor, the Revanchists left the known galaxy, pursuing some unknown threat, while Carth, at least, returned to Telos. But he didn't get to stay there. Just a year after the Battle of Malachor 5, Revan and Malak returned to the known galaxy, declaring themselves Dark Lords of a new Sith Empire. A new conflict, the Jedi Civil War, broke out, and once more, Carth rushed up to the front lines. Upon returning to the Navy, he was reunited with Admiral Karath, his old mentor, but not for long. Shortly after the outbreak of the Civil War, Karath defected, giving the Sith codes to bypass the security systems of the Republic shipyards. Because of Karath's betrayal, the Sith were able to capture or destroy a huge portion of the Republic fleet. Carth was shocked by the betrayal of his mentor, but the worst was yet to come. To test Karath's loyalty, Darth Malak put him in command of an assault on Telos 4, ordering him to raze the entire planet. Karath complied, destroying Telos' defenders and subjecting it to a massive orbital bombardment. Upon hearing the news, Carth rushed home to save his family, but he arrived too late. He returned home to find his wife dying and his son missing. Morgana died in his arms, and he assumed Dustil to have died in the attack as well. Carth was unable to stay on Telos for long, as the bombardment destabilized the planet's environment, rapidly rendering the planet lifeless. With nothing else left, Carth Onasi dedicated himself to the Republic Navy, putting everything he had into the war effort and into hunting Saul Karath. For most of the Jedi Civil War, he served as a military consultant, jumping between roles as needed. His superiors knew him as a skilled marksman, a legendary pilot, and an effective tactician, and Carth served in all of these roles during the war. By 3,956 BBY, he served as a strategic advisor to Bastila Shan, a Jedi war hero who had defeated Darth Revan a year prior. The two were assigned to the Endar Spire, but they were forced to abandon ship when the vessel was attacked over Taris. On Taurus, Karth linked up with a soldier from the Endar Spire's crew, one of the few survivors from the vessel, unaware that the man was actually the amnesiac Revan. Together, they tracked down Bastila, avoiding Sith forces as they went, and devised a plan to escape Taurus. Aboard the stolen freighter Ebon Hawk, Karth, Bastila, and their allies escaped Taurus shortly before it was bombed into oblivion by the Sith. By chance, or by will of the Force, the Sith fleet responsible for Taurus' destruction was commanded by Admiral Karath. Onasi accompanied Bastila and the amnesiac Revan as they tracked down the star maps on a mission for the Jedi Council, hoping the ancient artifacts would be the key to stopping the Sith. He piloted the Ebon Hawk and occasionally ventured out on missions and gradually developed a friendship with Revan, though he was hesitant to trust others ever since Saul Karath's betrayal. HK-47 summed up Karth's attitude best.
Let me cite some specific examples. Mockery.
Oh, Master! I do not trust you! I cannot trust you or anyone ever again!
Mockery.
During the hunt for star maps, the Ebon Hawk was captured by the Leviathan, Saul Karath's flagship, and Karth at last had a chance to face his old mentor. In a battle on the warship's bridge, Onasi killed Admiral Karath, avenging his family, or so he thought. In Karth's moment of triumph, he learned a terrible secret. With his dying breath, Karath told him that his amnesiac companion was Revan. Karth struggled greatly with this revelation, once more coming to distrust Revan. But after a while, he realized he couldn't hate the man he had been fighting alongside for so long, and also that killing Saul Karath hadn't brought him peace. He would have to confront his grief to escape it. When the Ebon Hawk's crew paid a visit to Korriban to seek out the final star map, Karth went undercover with Revan in the Sith Academy, where they made a startling discovery. Dustil Onasi was still alive, and he was in the academy training to be a Sith. Karth confronted his son, learning that the boy had come to resent him for his long absences during the wars, and that he had joined the Sith in a bid to take a different path. Dustil's faith in the Sith was shaken when Karth and Revan presented evidence of the Sith's treachery, however, and at length, the pair were able to pull him away from the path of the dark side. Karth Onasi stuck with Revan to the very end, traveling with him to Rakata Prime, where a final battle with Malak and the Sith took place. The Republic was victorious in that battle, and against all odds, the Jedi Civil War ended with the collapse of the Sith. In the wake of the Battle of Rakata Prime, Karth was made an admiral in the Republic Navy, becoming one of the Republic's foremost military leaders. He and the fleet patrolled the Outer Rim, keeping it safe. Shortly after the end of the Jedi Civil War, Revan met with Karth one last time, telling him that a new threat lurked in the unknown regions and that he had to go stop it. Before leaving, he left Onasi with a simple order: to keep the Republic strong for the coming fight. To the best of his ability, Admiral Onasi did as he was told, stopping threats to the Outer Rim even as the Republic began to atrophy once more. This period was called the Dark Wars, a time where the Republic nearly collapsed, not due to any existential threat, but due to its own inability to put the galaxy back together. After a few years, however, it made a major step toward rebuilding. With the aid of an Ithorian herd, the Republic had begun terraforming efforts on Telos 4, hoping to bring the dead world back to life. If the project was successful, the Senate was prepared to authorize similar efforts on other dead worlds, but for a time, it was anyone's guess as to whether the Telos project would actually succeed. Nonetheless, Karth watched the project closely, having a vested interest in the restoration of his homeworld. By 3951 BBY, the galaxy was in a grim state. The Jedi had completely disappeared, and Admiral Onasi caught whispers of Sith renegades lurking out on the rim. When Mitra Surik, the Jedi exile, reappeared, Onasi ordered her to be brought to Telos for questioning, with the hope that she would help the Republic stop this new threat. The authorities on Telos were unable to detain her, however, and so Onasi sent a spy to join Surik and keep an eye on her. Mikhail, the Disciple, a former Jedi aspirant and historian. Later that year, the Disciple contacted Karth to inform him that a Sith Lord, Darth Nihilus, was coming to attack Telos. Nihilus sought to consume the life forces of all living things on the planet and the space station above it to again cleanse Telos of life. But Admiral Onasi set out to stop him. He mustered as large a fleet as he could and led it to Telos, unwilling to let his homeworld die twice. On that day, the Republic risked most of what it had left to save on Telos 4, and with the help of Mitra Surik, Onasi was successful. Nihilus was defeated, Telos was saved, and so were the worlds that depended on the survival of the Telos project. Inadvertently, Karth again saved the Republic. After the battle, Karth briefly met with Mitra Surik. She, like Revan, was headed out into the unknown, determined to stop the threat waiting on the horizon. He let her go after him with one simple request.
If you return to that place, if you find some trace of Revan, simply tell him that Admiral Onasi is following his orders.
So, that's the story of Karth Onasi, one of the greatest war heroes the Republic ever knew. But what do you think? Are there other characters from this era that you'd like to see a video about? Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in the next video.